Hello, Taurus. If things have seemed heavy and negative lately, try going outside. This is my nature card. If you look very, very, very closely, there's a tiny Michael and a tiny Dwight down there that you can barely see. But nature is really big compared to tiny little Michael and Dwight humans. And that is the cool thing about nature. It kind of puts you in your place. It reminds you of your place. It reminds us of why we are really here. Instead of being all stressed out about human things that we created. So this card reminds me, I don't know if you guys know who Georges St. Pierre is, but GSP, he is a UFC fighter. And he has said that before a UFC fight, like the day before, especially championship fights, because they're stressful, right? You get anxious, you really want to win. It means everything to you, you know. But he said he would go out to a park the day before a fight. And he would just walk around. And then he would see like an old lady across the park, you know. That old lady doesn't care if he's going to win his fight tomorrow or not. That old lady is just living her life. To that old lady, she doesn't care if he wins or loses the next day. He can chat with her and she is just not going to know who he is, and she's not going to care if he wins or not. So it kind of reminded him of, you know, that UFC fight felt huge. That UFC fight felt really, really big. But when you would go to the park, look around, he would remind himself of how actually small we are, of how insignificant it is what we do. And he didn't do it just to give less meaning to the fight the next day, you know, but he did it to relax. He did it for it to not feel so heavy, for it to not feel so big, for him to not feel so stressed out. And I feel like this would really help you right now if you would just go outside. It's a perfect time to go outside, at least where I'm at in Nevada. We're in like in the 70s, 80s, like it already feels like summer. So this is the perfect time to be outside. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful energy to start. Like that harmony. Yeah, if you feel like you're not in harmony, being outside would definitely help. Being around animals would help. 3 of Cups. Alright, so a lot of emotions here. But the good thing is that we got good emotions. The water is flowing. The emotions are flowing. Just keep swimming. A 10 of Cups is like your emotions at its best, at its, you know, you've completed the final test. That's why, and when you do, you feel harmony. You feel like everything happens for a reason. You feel like nothing can bring you down. And that's probably how GSP felt when he went to the park before a fight. Now I have abundance here. The 3 of Cups. An abundance of all of these good emotions. That sounds nice. An abundance of nature sounds really nice. I always definitely feel better whenever I'm outside. Like if I am stuck in a room and I just am literally just stuck in the room and don't go anywhere, you know, eventually it feels, I don't know, I feel like a gremlin. I feel like, I don't know, just, you probably know the feeling. You feel rough. Maybe you've been stuck inside for a long time for certain reasons. But every time you go outside, you know, the sun is shining. Kind of breathe a sigh of relief. It kind of lifts the weight off your shoulders. You know, we are so small. But our problems, we feel so big sometimes, but they're really small problems as well. I mean, they're still problems, sure. They're puzzles that we must solve, but they're a lot smaller, than when they feel so big. Cool, 10, 10, 10, 10. Ooh, the devil with the 9 of Swords, and this guy looks like he's terrified of the devil. Interesting. We are the devil. I have a video that explains that. You should watch it. There's no reason to be scared of the devil. The devil is nature. Why would we be scared of nature? Why would we be scared of dolphins swimming in the ocean? Why would we be scared of abundance? The devil to me has a very bad fame, but I don't understand why. Another way to look at the devil. Ooh, interesting. See all these bad emotions that we feel when the devil came up? But really, all of these good emotions should be aimed towards him as well. If God is all, then he is also the devil. There's no reason he is everything except for the devil. That makes no sense. So who is the devil? To me, the teacher, he is the teacher. The devil is a teacher. And what do teachers do? Well, they give us tests, right? They teach and then they give us tests to make sure that we understood the knowledge that they were sharing with us. And so what people do when they fail these tests, well, they blame the devil, right? Oh, the devil made me do it. Oh, the lust from the devil, and I couldn't say no. So take responsibility, right? If we go to school and a teacher gives us a test and we fail, whose fault is it? Is it the teacher's fault, or is it our fault for not knowing the information? But people keep blaming the teacher here. Oh, it's the teacher's fault because he gave you the test in the first place. But you are the one who didn't pass the test. Right? Like Adam and Eve. When Eve ate the apple. What did she do when God confronted them? Well, Eve said, it wasn't my fault. Adam, he asked Adam first. Right? Adam said, oh, it wasn't my fault. Eve made me do it. Eve did it, so I did it too. But it's not my fault. Eve did it. And then he asked Eve, is that true? And Eve said, no, it wasn't my fault. That the devil made me do it. And then God looks at the devil and he says, is it true? And then the devil just winks at him. Yeah, I did it. So that's one thing we can learn from the devil, to take responsibility for the things that we do. So there's no reason to look at the devil that way. There's no reason to look at nature that way. There's no reason to look at your emotions that way. Love. Yeah, see that we turned, instead of, shunning the devil and, looking bad at him, let's show him some love. Ooh, your mind. Yeah, see, that's part of the devil, your mind. The Two of Cups is, so to me, there's the Lover's card, right? And then there's the Two of Cups, love. The Lover's card for me is, it's not about other people. It's not about having a lover, It's about your first lover, which is yourself. And that is what the Lover's card is about, is you and the one that looks back at you in the mirror. This Two of Cups, though, but more cups, huh? This Two of Cups, though, is your relationship now with other people, those around you, not just your significant other love, but, there's all kinds of love. In the Thoth Tarot, there's a part I really like that says there is the dove and there is the serpent. There is love and there is love. Right? They're both love. The devil will protect you. You know, it loves you and it will protect. So when you get attacked by a devil, right? It's the devil is protecting something. God wouldn't really protect, right? Because God includes all. God doesn't do bad things, right? God is more of love, and love includes. But the devil is going to protect. He will exclude if he needs to. If he feels like he needs to protect himself, he will exclude, just like this wand is excluded from the rest. Right? He's looking at him weird, so the devil is going to protect himself from this person. But the devil will include love. See, these guys are hanging out. Interesting, they're chained up. Cool. Yeah, like the responsibility thing, you know. They don't have freedom if they keep blaming someone else for the things that they've done. That's why they're chained up. But a person who takes responsibility and says, yeah, I did that. Yeah, you know, I made that mistake. Or, you know, if they get put to the test, then the test is for them to say no, right? God says yes, devil says no. The opposites. But sometimes we have to say no, right? If we say yes all the time, like in that movie, Yes Man, well, you're gonna, you know, give all yourself away. It's the same as there being a day all the time or night all the time. No, there's a mixture of both. Sometimes you gotta say yes, sometimes you say no. And you are responsible for that. And when you take up that responsibility, your emotions are going to follow. Your mind will follow these emotions. So go outside, huh? That's how we started nature. Feel your small self be part of such a bigger whole. You are a tiny little being in this massive, beautiful place. So instead of, you know, things feeling so hard and you looking at things so negative, if you need to, get it away from you so that you can feel all of these wonderful emotions. And that feels like all there needs to be said, but we will get some last little bit of stuff. Last bit of advice, last bit of words from the Office Oracle deck. Okay, cool. I like this card. This is the go after what you want. Interesting, and then be responsible about it. Be responsible for yourself to be able to push yourself to go after what you want. Chase these emotions, chase abundance, chase harmony. Don't see them as bad. See them as good. Maybe you feel like if if people around you are suffering, then you have to suffer as well, right? Especially now during these times of war and stuff. But that only adds fuel to the fire, you know. That adds more hate to hate. And how do we fix that? Well, let's bring love into the equation. Let's start doing things we love. Let's start taking away the fuel of that fire of war and hate. Just like the devil here, there's no point in throwing so much hate. How about you just focus on love and go after what you want? And the people around you might see you doing so well that they're like, oh, I want to be like that too. And so they start going after what they want. And it's a chain reaction. Oh, look at that. 39 to 40. The good old days. These are the good old days. Andy is here to tell us that these are the good old days. I love his quote. This is from the last episode of The Office. He says, "I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them." But we don't have to wish that, because Andy is here to tell us that we are in the good old days right now. There's no point in, throwing hate or blaming other people around you for the things, that happen. I just focus on going after what we want. Yeah, take a look around you. Nature. Nature will help center you again into that love, into that quietness, into that harmony. And then just follow that river. Cool. All right, well, this is everything I have for you, Taurus. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this reading helped. If it did, please help me as well by liking this video, by writing down a comment of whatever you want. Ask me a question. Let's talk about this devil. And subscribe if you want to keep hanging out with me. I love doing these videos and I love hanging out. I hope more people come hang out with me. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one.